Hey, what's up, YouTube family? It's been a minute, but I'm back with another video. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful October afternoon in Memphis. It's like 72, 73 degrees, and this is just my kind of weather. So I said, why not do this video outside in this beautiful, beautiful fall weather? If it can just sit like this all year long, I'll be happy, happy, happy. Well, anyway, let's get to business. First of all, this video is sort of dedicated to a friend of mine, James Penn. If you have not subscribed to the I'm Free Project, please do so. My brother is just spitting just crazy, crazy word from God. And, it's controversial, but, when you really listen to it, he's speaking the truth. So he posted something yesterday, and I kind of wanted to give my take on it. It's similar, and I wanted to go a little deeper because it's something that not only touches his heart, but also touches my heart. And the name of this video is going to be called Russian Roulette. Russian Roulette. Well, of course, as I mentioned in almost every one of my videos, I am a person who has overcome homosexuality, and it's been about now 7 years and some change. So I think the last video I did, I was talking about my 7th year anniversary. So now it's been 7 years and a little over 2 months. So it's been a struggle, and the reason being is because once I first got that taste of sex, which was when I was 18, it was a good taste. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I didn't enjoy myself. I mean, it was basically a situation in which another guy performed oral sex on me, and it was a pleasing experience to my flesh. I felt good. I was a little confused, but I felt this rush, this euphoria that I was like, I want to feel it again. So naturally, not too long after that, I went back and, wanted to get that experience again. And then, as I got bolder, I began to desire more than just, being, given oral sex. So, I experiment on almost pretty much every type of sexual position or sexual situation you can think of with another guy. And, some things I liked, some things I didn't. But, those things that I liked, I just continued to, pursue those things and, just continue to try to get that rush, that, that euphoria, that high that I got, in the process, in the climax of having sex. So, that led to other things like masturbation, watching pornography, things such as that. So, and, I didn't care. I didn't care to risk. I mean, I was someone who was having sex in bathrooms, in locker rooms, in the mall, at at a guy's house, who was married and the wife was gone. I mean, I'm just being real with you. I was out there. I was out there. I'm not ashamed because that's not me anymore. But this can help someone who may be doing this now and wants to get out. You could be like, oh yeah, you don't know anything about my struggle. I know about your struggle because I was in your struggle. I was doing the same things you're doing now, not too long ago. So I understand. I was doing all that stuff, and with no regrets, no conscience or anything. Sleeping with this man, that man. It could be 2 or 3 guys a day. I'd be going everywhere, finding men online, just going everywhere trying to get pleased sexually, even in relationships with other guys, cheating on them, finding random people to, hook up with, it's just crazy. I was a maniac, didn't care. Safe sex sometimes, maybe if I found a condom. But a lot of times, I mean, I did it with no protection. I mean, I did it, it felt better. I mean, let's be real. I mean, sex without a condom feels better. And anyone who says differently is lying. It's nobody's gonna say, "Oh, it feels better when I use a condom." No, it doesn't. It feels better when you do it raw. And a lot of times, I wanted to feel good, so I didn't use protection. I took the risk. You know, disease. I don't care. I mean, hey, I think you clean. You look clean. Yeah, you smell good. You look clean. So I'm gonna take that risk. I want to get the best, the most pleasure I can out of this experience. So, I mean, that's how it was. And I was, I was so naive, and not only just unprotected sex, but things like thinking about okay, you sleep with all these people. What's the outcome besides a possible STD? Well, I didn't have to worry about pregnancy because it was all women, all men. But I did have to worry about this thing called soul ties. And when you connect with someone sexually, you create a soul tie with that person. So I was creating soul ties with all these different people. So I was desiring these things, sexual things that I never desired before. It was a combination of me seeing it on porn and then also being with that type of person who experienced that, that stuff is real. When you just connect with someone like that, it's real. You got to be careful with that. But I was just crazy. I didn't care what was going on. Of course, eventually, you know, HIV became more prevalent and AIDS and all that. So I decided to start, using protection more. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. A lot of times when I was in a relationship with someone, I didn't still have sex with the condom. I would still have unprotected sex. Now at the end, maybe the last year I was in that life, I was using condoms more frequently. But at the end of the day, condoms break. Condoms are not 100% effective. If you don't know how to put on a condom, it may not work right. So even though I may have been wearing a condom, it may not have worked. So at that time, I mean, I was stupid. Let's just put it bluntly. I was stupid. I was playing Russian roulette with my life, and I'm just thankful that I got out of that life before, I killed myself or killed someone else. I could have had something and gave it to someone else. But praise God, I don't have HIV, so I I'm not gonna die from that disease. At least not not anytime soon, because hopefully when I get married, my wife will be negative and we'll be faithful to each other, so there won't be an issue with that. But and this video is not only for gay people, this is for straight people too, because there's some straight people who are sleeping around with this person, that person, not using protection, playing Russian roulette with their lives. So the point I'm making is that Paul said in 1 Corinthians 6 and 18, he was talking to the Corinthians about sexual immorality. He was talking about how the sexual immorality, sexual sin is the only sin that's committed on your own body. So when you're having sex with someone that's not your spouse, when I say spouse, I mean man, your wife, or wife, your husband, that's what I'm talking about. So when you're not having sex with your wife, you are committing sexual sin. You are participating in sexual immorality, whether it's watching porn, masturbating, having sex with a man having sex with another man, a woman having sex with another woman, a man and a woman who are not married having sex. All of that is wrong. All of it is wrong. All of it is equal. One of those sins is not worse than the other. You can get HIV on pretty much all those different scenarios. The only one that you may not get it is woman on woman, and that's still possible. It's not as likely, but it's still possible. But at the end of the day, even if you don't get an STD, there are other things you have to worry about. You have to worry about an unwanted pregnancy. You got to worry about the soul ties I was mentioning about earlier. So all these things are a result of sexual sin, sexual immorality. So these are ways in which sexual sin is affecting your body. And even with masturbation, you're saying, "Oh, I'm not hurting nobody with masturbating. I'm having sex with myself. Who am I hurting?" Well, the more the more you fantasize about this person, that person. I mean, and I had to get this in my head. The more you think about having sex with different people, the more you're gonna want to, that touching yourself is not gonna be enough. You're gonna want more. So you're gonna, start looking for different avenues besides masturbation. And even if you don't, I mean, just your mind is cluttered and clouded. I mean, it becomes an obsession. Trust me, I know. I struggle with that even after I stopped having sex. I struggle with masturbation. So, I mean, that's a serious deal. I mean, you spend your time that you should be, doing things. You spend your time, in bed all day, touching yourself. And, it's not a good thing. But back to the main things like, homosexuality and premarital sex, things like that. Those consequences are very, very big. I mean, do you want to have a kid when you're 15, 16, or even 25 if you're not ready to have a kid? I mean, you may be 25 and still living with your mama. Are you ready for that responsibility? And then you wind up with, guys who say, well, I didn't expect all this. I was just trying to find a good time. So, I mean, yeah, now you're dealing with baby mama drama or baby daddy drama. I mean, stuff like that. And I know, and you wonder why the world is so overpopulated. I mean, they're complaining about, married people, not the married people who's doing it. I mean, it's the unmarried people who creating all this mess. Or, the ones who, divorce and all that. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything against divorce. I mean, it happens. But, but mainly these people, having premarital sex. And then it keeps increasing the rate of HIV, the rate of AIDS, herpes, gonorrhea. I mean, all these things. And, of course, there's some things like gonorrhea that are treatable. But there's some things like HIV and herpes. It's not treatable, and you're messing with your life. You're risking your life. And over the last few years, I mean, I've met people. For a while, I never knew anyone who had HIV or AIDS. I've met so many people who I already knew, who contracted at a later time, or people who I met and, just happened to tell me that they were positive. And just seeing the struggle is hard. It's very hard to see the struggle. And, I think to myself, I'm thankful that I got out when I did. But I wouldn't want that pain, not only on me, but anyone else. I really empathize with people. And something like that, I empathize with them. Being sick, and being in and out of hospital, things like that, becoming a shell of your former self. I mean, it's just crazy. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Why are we playing Russian roulette with our lives? But, if you want to stop gambling, it's not too late. You may have a disease, it's not too late. You may have a child out of wedlock, it's not too late. You may have slept with 100 people and think that nobody wants a dirty rag like you, but it's not too late. Because if you go up a little ahead in that chapter, a little earlier, I think it's around verse 11, Paul talks about, how the homosexual and the adulterer and the sexually immoral and the liars and all these other people are going to hell because of their sin. But then he has a but. And the but was, those that was some of you that was in the past. But now, because of God and his blood, he washed those sins away because you surrender your life to them. So when these people surrender lives to Christ, all those evil deeds were washed away with the blood of Christ. So it's not too late for you either. You can surrender your life to Christ today. When I say surrender, I don't mean just say, "Oh, I believe in God." No, it takes more than that. It takes a whole lifestyle change. That means if you're gay, you need to get out of that gay lifestyle. I'm saying it. You need to get out of that gay lifestyle. If it's not of God, you need to get out of it. If you're shacking up with some dude or some girl, get out of that house. If you going to the club every weekend and, finding some random person to sleep with, stop it. All that, you got to stop it. Because you're playing Russian roulette. You can wind up with a child that you weren't expecting, a disease you can't get rid of, a soul tie that, you wish you could rid of yourself of, but, it's going to stay in they're going to stay in your mind. You're going to be wondering why you can't get this person out of your mind. Oh, the sex was so good with them. Oh, why can't I find someone else to please me like that? Because you shouldn't have given it to them. You wouldn't know how good it was with them. You should only know how good it is with your spouse. Not with Tom, Dick, and Harry, Sarah, Sally, Sue, and Keisha, and all them. You should only know how it feels with your spouse. So let's be real. We need to get out of this sinful nature. It's sad. It's so sad, and I pray that more people will come to Jesus, especially the young people, because people 12, 13, 14 years old having sex, having oral sex, having penetrating, masturbating each other. It's just foolishness, molestation. It's crazy. And I just only pray that we stop playing Russian roulette with our lives and that we begin to seek God. And don't do it just because, the Bible says. Your heart has to change. Because once your heart changes, my heart changed. So those things that I once desired, I don't desire, even if they pop in my head, I'll be like, you know what, it ain't even worth it. It's not worth for me to try to hook up with this dude because I already know what's going to happen at the end. I already know the end of the story. So no matter how good the sex may be, I'm not even going to go there because my heart is not even in it. So I'm not a gambling man. I used to be a gambling man when it came to my life, but I can't gamble anymore. It's just too much going on out here. So I pray that you don't gamble your life away. The only gamble you need to take is to gamble on believing in Christ. And that's probably the only gamble that you can take that you're going to be fruitful out of it. So I hope you all got something out of this. Respond, give me your thoughts, whether you like what I said, whether you want to dog me out, I'm just going to listen still. But, at the end of the day, I have my beliefs on this whole thing. So I pray that, someone who needs to hear this and needs to get out listens and comes out. Until next time, God bless and peace.